Good day, ladies and gentlemen from around the world. Welcome to day 24 of DS's birthday celebration as we go through life transforming testimonies of people who have been touched by DS's life. Dr. Sunday Adelaja says, I don't want to celebrate my birthday alone. I want to be able to celebrate people who have been impacted positively with my message and with the things that God has entrusted me with. I'm Joshua Matare coming to you live from Kyiv. We're very sorry that we're coming in about 15 minutes late. We had some technical difficulties, but we've been able to sort it out, and that's why we're live with you right now. Please share this link with your friends, share it through your inboxes and through private group chats and all that. We need as many people as possible to come in today because we've got a very unique guest, and she's going to be sharing with us a lot of interesting things and sharing ideas and principles and a life transforming testimony of how she went from where she was to a celebrated person that she is today. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is an episode that you don't want to miss. Those of you who have missed the last 23 episodes, you can go on Dr. Sunday Adelaja's YouTube page as soon as we're done, and you will see the other guests that we've had. Each person had a unique story to tell. Each person had a unique testimony. Each person had a life transforming experience. And I can assure you that you would be blessed when you go through the stories that have been told by other people and the experiences they've shared. Now, we have a very special guest coming to us all the way from Botswana in Africa. She's of Nigerian descent, but she's over there in Botswana. She's going to be telling us how she ended up there. It's all part of her testimony. And we're going to be handling the topic from a laid-back Christian to a kingdom-minded personality. Now, I don't know how many Christians you've got on your timeline, but this is one that they will want to listen to. I'm sure today is Sunday. A lot of people have been to church. I think the lockdowns are beginning to ease up now, thanks to the coronavirus, being handled by different governments, and people are beginning to move around again. But at this point in time, Christians need to hear this message. There is something that is different about the Christianity that we're going to be talking about this evening, and you want people, as many as possible, to be able to hear it. So without much further ado, I want to welcome Mrs. Aderonke all the way from Botswana. Hello, Ma, can you hear me?
Yes, Joshua, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. It's good
Hello,
having you with us.
DSA team. Hello, everyone at home.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So can you please tell us about yourself? First of all, how is Botswana?
Botswana is fine. We're entering winter now, pretty cold, but it's okay. It's a beautiful weather.
Very
We're
good, very
enjoying.
good. I was saying offline that I've not met many people from Botswana. It's a small country of about a couple of million people, but there are our brothers over there in Africa, and I'm not sure I've even
Uh,
met anyone in school from Botswana. So we're going to be relying on your knowledge to tell us a little bit of what it's like, to be in Botswana, what the church is like, what the people are like. So can you tell us about yourself, a little bit about yourself before we move forward?
okay, my name is Kola-Jebutu. Like you said, I am 46 years old. I am a Nigerian, presently living in Botswana with my family. I am married to a wonderful man, and I have three adorable kids. Um, what else? Okay, I'm from a family of four children. I'm the second born. I have an elder brother and two lovely younger sisters. Yeah,
Right? What's your profession?
I'm a dentist. I'm a family dentist. I'm a specialist in family dentistry.
Ah,
Yeah, I
okay,
did my residency in family dentistry.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
fantastic. So, how did you get to Botswana? What's your story?
Okay. We were in Nigeria. Like I said, I specialized in family dentistry.
Yeah.
Then my husband works for the US government.
Okay.
He got he got an expatriate position here.
All right.
So that was 2018. So he moved here. Then after a couple of months, we first came to have a vacation of about two weeks to see the place, to look around.
All right.
Then he proposed he didn't really find it easy to tell me that we should come over with him because he felt that I was doing fine. Then I was even the HOD of my department. So, but then when I looked at everything, so I felt I just wanted to come. because at that point in time, I just accomplished some things that I just felt like it was fine. And I was doing great, but at that particular point in time, I just accomplished some very good things, and I felt I want something new, you know.
Okay. So that means the
Yes,
move came
yes,
almost at the right time.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
What part of
So
Nigeria are you from, and where were you based before you moved to Botswana?
I'm from Ilesha, Osun State,
Okay.
but we were based in Abuja.
Ah,
We were
okay.
based in Abuja.
All right.
Yes,
Fantastic. So,
yes.
what was life like as a Christian in Abuja? And what was your experience like from school or from your young age? What was your first experience like with Christianity and coming to Christ? What was your experience with the church and with your own personal relationship with God prior to, meeting DSA?
Okay, okay. Thank you. I'll start from my childhood. I was born into a Christian family, but not like a religious family. We were not going to church every Sunday, as in like a very little. My first memories was like going to church once, very once in a while, maybe like 6 times in a year. You know, yes, I just yeah, yeah, I just like. But I remember that by the time I was like 9, 10 years old, I started going to church by myself.
Mm.
Mm. We actually lost our dad when I was just 8 years old. We lost him early.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a dentist as well. We lost him early. So I was 8 years old. And I remember as early as when I was 9, 10 years old, I started going to church by myself with my younger ones. We go on
Okay.
Sundays, sometimes including weekdays too. So then it continued like that. All this while, my mom was very busy trying to take care of her children, trying to fend for them. You know, she was the only one with the 4 kids. Meanwhile, by the way, she's a DSA fan now.
Fantastic. So, you're now winning everyone in
Yeah,
your family over.
yes, she was. Sometimes she sends the messages, the DSA videos. I will tell her, "Don't worry, I'm subscribed. I know how to go about
Hope
it."
she's watching us right now.
I told her I hope so.
Oh,
I
okay.
hope so. I hope
Hello,
so.
Mrs.
She had
Aderoke's mom. If you're watching us, good to have you here.
and she sends the videos to all our fellow elders in church.
Hmm.
Some people even went ahead to buy DSA books
Wow.
through. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Amazing. So
But
she
by the
has
time I
become a
got,
radical.
yes, by the time I got to secondary school in my junior secondary school, that was when I gave my life to Christ.
Okay.
You know, that it was at a school fellowship.
All
So
right.
a school fellowship I gave my life to Christ. So the fellowship was the basis for it was like my
Foundation.
source of spiritual, yes, yes, yes. And it was good. Then we didn't have all these big churches then. We didn't have all these big, it was just fellowship. There was no emphasis on men of God, men of no, it was just trying to bring up the children, teaching us about Christ, teaching us how to have a quiet time. Then I entered the university. Still throughout my first year, I joined a university on campus. Yes. It was not until the second year before I started going to a church. And that church I attended for the rest of my years in the university, the rest of my 6 years in the university. I attended, and
Docs Church.
it was a Pentecostal church.
Okay.
And if you compare to the ones that we have around, it was a good one. It was, yes, it was a good one in the sense that the emphasis was on becoming more like Christ. You understand? Even though the they emphasize on why we're here on earth, but why you are here individually as a person is not emphasized.
Uh-huh.
As in why we are here as human beings, being like Christ, being knowing God and being conformed to God. But you as a person, your passion, your purpose was not emphasized. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Uh, yes, and coupled with the fact that it was sort of legalistic, very sin conscious. You have to confess your sins many times in an hour. That was the upbringing. That was my spiritual background. That was my spiritual. It was then I got married, and then my husband was going to Winners Chapel.
Okay.
So even when we were courting, he had a lot of Oyedepo's messages that I was listening to, and I liked a lot of what he was saying. You understand? Then he used to preach about practical things, practical living, how to be hardworking, how to not waste your resources, and things like that. Sometimes it's difficult for me to believe that it's the same person now. Anyway, that was it. Then I got married. We started going to Winners Chapel. So of course, all my children grew up in Winners Chapel. But over time, I realized that I realized that I wasn't spiritually. There was really nothing. There was no. Yes, there was a void, and the 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 particular church you go in Winners Chapel, it depends on the pastor that is there, the extent of what you get. Even though many things come from the headquarters, you understand the messages they're going to preach, the topics come from the headquarters, but sometimes they are better. They are one is better than the other. Sometimes they do better than one another. But in general notes, the void was just there. I was just not getting what I wanted.
So you
I
didn't
was just not
exactly
getting.
know what it is you were looking for, but you just knew something was wrong and something wasn't complete.
Yes. And I felt because you work with people in church, in your activity group, the things they emphasize, it's just, I was just very uncomfortable. That, you are Christians, why should you, the things they emphasize were not I. Up to the point that there was a time, over 10 years ago, we were supposed to be deacons, myself and my husband, and we rejected it.
Wow. Why?
Yes. We just said no. Let's just be working for God. We don't have to have a title before we work. Let's just do our own and work for God. Coupled with the fact that most people that are there that are deacons and deaconesses, not trying to judge, but you just look at the lifestyle, and it's not very Christian like that. So all those things are much more. I kept on asking questions within me that were not answered. Then it got worse by the day. It got worse by the year. It got worse by the year, such that it reached the point I started listening to all these American preachers. Every morning before I go to work, I will listen to Joseph Prince, Joyce Meyer, Crefudola. They come like that every morning, one after the other, 30 minutes. I will always listen to them every morning. So that became my source, because if I had wanted to be very truthful and be evaluative, I would have known that what I was just going to church on Sundays just to fulfill my religious. Yes, not that there was anything for me, except maybe once in a while when I now teach in the children's church, I feel good. You understand? Apart from that, it was really nothing. Nothing. And like I said, depending on the pastor they bring to your particular, there was a time they now brought this pastor that we were always cursing every Sunday, you know, always praying for enemies to die. And he will even say, you people that don't want to say amen, I'm telling you, it's not everybody that's meant for the kingdom of God. You better say amen before they kill you, you kill them. All those kind of things. I'm asking. This is not, I'm sure, I'm throughout those times when things happen, when they say things, I will like, inside me, I'll be like, I'm sure Bishop does not know this. Bishop doesn't know this thing. If Bishop
Sorry, I didn't
actually
hear
said,
you. You said inside you, you say what?
I'll be like, I'm sure Bishop, Bishop Oyedepo doesn't know this thing they are doing. I'm sure he doesn't
Okay.
know this thing they are saying. That if he knows, I'm sure he will not find
Approve
it
of
easy with
it.
them. You understand?
Yeah.
Until I started seeing that, oh, yeah, I started saying the same thing.
So
You know,
you then realize
we,
that this was not an isolated incident.
okay, yeah, and I was like, oh, it's. And I started praying about generational curses,
Hmm.
enemies. It didn't used to be like that 20 years ago, it didn't used to be like that,
Mm.
you know. So I just continued. Then when we moved here, when we moved there, like I told you, everything was going on well. The new job for my husband. Even that time was the time that my firstborn got admitted to one of the Ivy League colleges in US. So, and the
Congratulations.
other two are doing. Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I said
I said,
congratulations. That's not an easy
thank
feat.
you. Thank you. And the other two were doing well, and I just came here, and I was praying to God that I want to know why I am here. What assignment do you have for me? And it was at that point that I bumped into DS's YouTube messages, videos.
Before we go into the DSA path, what do you think it was that
Okay.
made you to start going to church alone at 9? Was there something in you that wanted God, or why did you feel the need to start taking your younger ones as early as 9 years old to go to church?
Do you know when I look back at I don't even know. Even my sister says that you were the ones that used to take us to church. You were the ones that made us to know God. I don't know. Just I don't know.
So
Maybe the
instinctively, you
few
were just
times,
doing
maybe
those
the few
things.
times that what?
So it was just an instinctive thing. It's not like you had a particular reason.
No,
Wow.
no. Maybe the few times that I had been to church, I just felt yes, we should be going to church. And my mom was not interested. So I'll just go, I'll just take my younger ones.
Wow.
you
All
know.
right. So you said in high school you got born again. What was that experience like? Did you experience the joy and the happiness that comes with salvation? And what was your relationship with God like? Was it something that you loved, or was it something that became legalistic after a while due to the structure that you went into as a Christian?
No, it became legalistic later when
Okay.
I got to the university. But as a young Christian in the secondary school, it was beautiful. It
Uh-huh.
was just a beautiful experience. I had the joy of salvation. I remember something. I remember that I had the personal relationship with God.
Mm.
I remember bringing a friend of mine when we were about to have the exam, the final exam. This was what they call like exam malpractice,
Mm-hmm.
where the questions will come out before the day.
Yeah.
So I said, no, I'm not going to look at that.
Mm.
What will I tell God when I want to pray tomorrow morning? I'm not going to look at that.
Mm.
I just remember that incident very well. And my reason was that when I want to pray tomorrow morning, what am I going to tell God?
Mm. So
That
you were
no, I
so
can't I
conscious
can't
about
relax.
your conscience and the cleanliness of your heart. You didn't want anything to tamper with your relationship with
No, I
God.
didn't want. I didn't want. So it was a
Mm.
beautiful experience, and it was good. And you were not looking up to any. You were not looking up to man.
Mm.
You know that direct relationship was there. There was no emphasis on anybody coming to lay hands on you or any man of God praying for you for anything. It was your relationship with God. It was beautiful.
Amazing. Were you the only one that had such a thing, or it was something that was common at the time? Because at this time or right now, there are not many people who have your testimony of how they had this relationship with God. So is this something that was common at the time?
I think it was common then. 1987, 88, it was common then.
Okay.
I think so because many of my friends then, we are still friends today from that fellowship.
Wow.
You understand? From that fellowship, we even have a WhatsApp group and we're trying to assist the teacher. Now the fellowship is no longer in school, but that man is retired. He still continues, and we're trying to assist.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. I had to ask you that question because a lot of people have become disillusioned with Christianity due to the legalism and the syncretism that they see in the church. They are no longer happy with the things that they see, and they feel abused. They feel, that they are being oppressed. And like you said, back then it was a relationship between you and God, but at this point it's now you and your pastor and all of the do's and the don'ts and the things you must do, and now it's no longer fun anymore. So I just wanted to highlight that fact that initially you were free, initially there was that joy, but then the church that was supposed to help build on what you had instead took it away from you. Is that correct?
Yes, I can really understand. I can really identify with them because when I look back, people that got born again, maybe 10, 15 years ago, into all this, you know, at times we tend to be judgmental that, oh, they are the ones, they should use their brain. Why should they allow men of God to use them? Why should they? But I think that these are the people that, especially when it is in that church that you got born again, these are the people that brought them to Christ. These are the ones they look up to.
Mm.
So, of course, they just assume that they know better and they are to lead them aright. So, they want to listen to what they have to say. How many people will go and devour the Bible immediately they get born again? You
Mm.
understand? But we keep saying they should have read their Bible. They should. No, I don't feel that way. I feel it is the responsibility of those men of God
Yeah.
to
Absolutely. It's like telling a kid to raise themselves. There's a reason why they
yeah,
have parents who are supposed to teach them and
yeah,
help them grow and show them right from
yes,
wrong and lead them in the right
yes,
path.
yes.
All right. So when you later became, you were supposed to become a deacon and you and your husband turned it down due to the
even,
fact,
even before I came here,
yeah?
just before I relocated to Botswana, I was made a deacon again. I was nominated. I was
Wow.
nominated a deaconess again. But my husband will not even hear about that. I was nominated again, and I was supposed to be ordained just before I came in.
So why did they keep nominating you a deacon? Because from the topic of today, it says you were a laid back Christian. So you might not have been really laid back. It's like you were hands on and you were really trying to see how you could help in church. Because for them to have kept nominating you, it's like you were active, right?
Yes, active physically in church. But
Okay.
when I say laid back, now with the knowledge I have now,
Oh, okay.
then it was just about me.
All right.
Like then, what was my dream in life was just let me define, let me make it. If I'm able to build a beautiful house, if my family is doing fine, if I'm able to have family vacations yearly, I'm
Okay.
okay, I'm fine, and I'm able to help the few people I come that come across our way, we help them, then that's fine. But of course, with DSA messages, that's not the way I think. I don't think like that again.
Oh, okay. So based
No,
on the way you used to think, you had
that's what
gotten
I
all the
mean.
goals that you've set for yourself.
That's what I mean by laid back. Even
Aha.
though you think you are doing fine because you are going to church every Sunday,
All right.
but you are still laid back because you are doing much more below your capacity.
Okay.
Now I have a bigger picture. I have a bigger dream beyond myself.
All
Beyond
right.
myself, yes.
And
Yes.
interestingly, the church is supposed to teach you to become, better than just looking at your selfish interest or looking after your own selfish interest. They're supposed to help
Mm-hmm.
expand your knowledge, expand your vision, and make you reach out to the world because, like the Bible says, we are the light of the world. So it's interesting
Yes.
that you have been trying to make it, you've been nominated to become a deacon twice, and it was all about
Yeah.
yourself. They didn't even try to make you to become somebody who will reach out to the world.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so tell us how you got to know Pastor Sunday.
Okay. Okay. Before we leave that, I just want to just or just add something to that.
All right.
How I was getting dissatisfied and not getting satisfied with everything going on.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, when we were here already, every January we have this 21 days fasting in church.
Okay.
So during last year 21 day fasting, there was this day I didn't go to church, but I wanted to pray in the house. We have these pamphlets, these booklets that we have prayer points on. So then I opened it. I wanted to pray. Then I opened the first page. I saw that there was nothing to pray about. I opened the second page, the third page. Then I just left it. Now, what is this? This is not prayer.
What do you mean there was nothing to pray about?
I don't know. When I was even trying to look for it so that I will these prayers like Father, as I remain committed to the evangelism, my clinic or something breakthrough, as I this one will happen. Those were the prayers,
Okay.
living conditions, and those were the testimonies in church.
All
People will
right. I
come and
did this and I got
testify.
that. I did that and I got
Yes,
this.
because I gave this money, God did this for me. Because I
Oh.
went out for evangelism, God did this for me. So that was the format of the prayer. So it was
Mm.
many months after I mentioned it to my husband. He said, of course, he knew that he didn't use that thing. Of course, he knew that there was no prayer plan. So
Wow.
why did you tell me? I didn't tell. So he knew that there was no prayer inside that thing.
Hmm.
So many things like that. When I was listening to those preachers on TBN, I got something from Joseph Prince, where he said that preachers and pastors should point people to Christ. They should point them to God and not to themselves. You understand?
Yeah.
So I started using that yardstick.
Okay.
Then I found out that they were all pointing to themselves,
Hmm.
not to Christ. So when I discovered Pastor Sunday, I used the yardstick as well. Then I found out that he was always pointing me to God.
Hmm.
And even when he boasts about his relationship with God, he will quickly add that this is how we are supposed to be. This is how everybody is supposed to be. And there's nothing wrong in boasting about that anyway, because that's the only thing we are allowed to boast about,
True.
according to God.
True.
He that boasts should boast in that he understands and knows me.
True.
So he doesn't come like I am the only one, and you need me to, you cannot get to God.
He didn't make his experience so special that nobody else can accomplish it,
He
or
will
nobody
say it
else
and he
can
will
have
say
it.
that, come along, this is what all of us, this is how all of us should be like.
Different
So,
from what you were used to.
oh, of course, of course, of course. They always talk, I hide there. I entered and they touched my clothes, and then
Wow.
they were healed. They were healed. They touched it. They are the, you know,
They are the
that's it.
prophets and the high priest.
Yes, yes. And you really need them to
Hmm.
get to God.
Wow.
Yeah.
So these were some of the experiences you faced. Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it from Mrs. Adelaja. Please share this link and let's have a lot of people come and join us because her experience is not unique to her. Trust me, there are millions of people who are listening, or there are millions of people in churches right now who are going through the exact same thing that she went through. She had a dissatisfaction and the void on the inside of her, but she did not know how to get out of it. But thank God that she was able to find DSA, which is going to be telling us how she did next, and everything changed. Help share this message so that somebody who is watching, who might be frustrated and just scrolling through their timeline and looking for answers to questions that they have on the inside of them, will be able to see this, and it might begin to lead them to the truth and help them to find a way out of whatever confusion and whatever misunderstandings that they're having at this time. So please tell us, Ma, how did you meet DSA, or how did you hear about him?
Okay. I heard about DSA many years ago, maybe 10, 15. I just heard about the name. I didn't know anything about him. I didn't know what it looked like. I just knew that there's one Nigerian whose name is Adelaja in Ukraine that is doing exploits for God. That was all I knew. Then, about 3 or 4 years ago, my husband bought this book, Church Shift. Then he wouldn't allow anybody to rest. Have you read Church Shift? Anybody that came in contact, have you read Church Shift? Have you read Church Shift? Incidentally, it was that same period that I got to hear about DSA scandals.
Mm,
So I was not interested at all in the church he was shouting about.
okay.
I was rather feeling sorry for him that this book here, I don't understand you. This man that he said, he didn't listen to me. He just went, this book, what I read there. Instead of listening, I did not even, later when I read this book, I was now accusing him that you should have convinced me to read this. This is what you read there and you kept quiet. You should have convinced me.
Wow.
So, um, so then, um, well, after reading, after that, when I had those scandals, then I went to browse by myself on the internet. I went to browse about Dr. Sunday scandals.
Mm-hmm.
Then I came about a video where it was like an interview session
Okay.
where it was answering questions concerning those scandals.
All right.
Then I just had peace that, oh, this man is not bad. I just had, okay, you can go ahead and read this book. So while I was watching that video, another video popped up, and that happened to be the one where it was talking about why some Christians die young.
Okay.
Specifically, he made that for Miles Monroe.
All right.
So in that video, he was saying that he would even like to die young. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, man is not a faith man. He's not strong like our bishops that can never be sick, that can never die. Mm. So that was my question. This one is not strong. It's not strong in faith. Like our bishops that can never be sick, that can never die. So I just forgot about him. So then when I came over here and I was praying that prayer that I want to know what is happening, what is my assignment, what next? That was when I bumped into some of his videos. I can't.
Sorry, before you go on, you said when he said he wanted to die young. Did you listen to the video or you just saw the title and you said his faith wasn't
No, I
strong?
listened. It was inside the video that I listened to the video.
Ah, okay. You
It was
listened to
when
the
the video
video
that I
and you
said
were
he
not
wanted.
convinced by his arguments.
No, I said, no. When we have been hearing every day, I can never be sick. I can never die. I can never. No.
So everything he's saying didn't appeal to you at all.
I just felt it's not strong. It's not up there. It's not.
Ah, okay.
You
His
know,
faith
it's
is
not
still
strong in
growing.
faith. It's not strong in faith.
Okay, please go ahead.
So where was I now?
So
Okay,
did
so
so did you pick up the book?
I cannot remember in particular the first one I listened to, but I remember saying something about seed sowing. I remember him explaining something about not forsaking assemblies together. I had never heard all those things in that kind of dimensions before.
All right.
Then I remember how to regain the lost years. I was very tripped. Then I kept on listening and listening and listening. Each one I kept on listening. It was very fascinating for me. It was very eye opening. I was blown away. I couldn't leave it. I got addicted. It became addictive for me. Everything, everywhere I went, I was with that my Bluetooth. Even when I'm sleeping, when I'm cooking, when I'm working, everything I was listening, I kept on. So then later I realized it wasn't long before I realized that they were in series. Then I started listening series by series. Then I started listening series by series, series by series. So I just said, no, this person is my mentor. It was later, then I heard him announcing about mentorship. Then I registered. What am I waiting for? Because I was telling one of my friends that I had learned in 3 or 4 months what I hadn't learned in over 3 decades. So what am I waiting for? So that was when I registered for the mentorship. I was still on that mentorship when the millionaire mentorship came along. Yes, yes. So it has been very rewarding. Yeah.
The experience, like after the first few ones, you said you got addicted. So did you keep going to church or did you completely stop going?
I was still going to church.
Okay.
I was still going to church, but then I still continue to go to church for about I think 2 months. And before I eventually stopped, I started saying something wrong with everything they were doing. Like every sentence, every statement.
It was
So I couldn't
erroneous.
cope again. They were not making sense again. Like pastor will just jump up. Before the end of the month, he will be a billionaire. How is that possible? Without learning the laws of money, without learning so many things. Like the last time I went, it was when they were passing the mantle. So I didn't partake of it. That was when I said, no, I can't
I'm
take
sorry.
this again.
What do you mean by passing the mantle? What does that mean?
That means that handkerchiefs,
Okay.
handkerchiefs will be prayed upon, will be prayed upon by the pastor. So the other pastors or deacons, they will pass it through all the members. They will collect the handkerchief. You touch your head with it, then pass it to the other
That's
person.
one
Touch your head
handkerchief for the whole church.
There will be many, but maybe somebody will have like 10.
Okay.
So
But it must
eventually,
have
you
touched the
have to
man of
share.
God
Not
on the stage.
yes.
Okay.
The man of God, they would have prayed over it.
All right.
So you touch it and pass it, or you bring your own from home. You use that one to touch your own.
Oh,
So
wow.
anointing or power will flow from that to you, or
Huh.
will flow from that to your own handkerchief.
Amazing. So, what was in that mantle? Were they passing across a mantle of blessings or what?
Yes, it's always blessings. I don't remember the particular blessing now, but it's always one blessing or the other. So,
Wow.
in other words, so members are now supposed to always look up to to the power of God from the outside instead of living from inside out. So, in
So, you were
other words,
supposed to
you
take the
remain
handkerchief
babies.
with you and use it for whatever you liked.
Yes, yes. So you are now living from outside in instead of living from inside out as a Christian.
Mm.
So I don't see growth in that. People will just remain babies for life because however the pastor got that power, he should teach the members so that they will grow spiritually too, and not always rely on. From time to time they will bring mantle or feet washing, or from time to time you do the these things are not what I wasn't aware of even before I joined. But there's a way you just feel if it is not a sin. So why not? It's not as if just go along. Just go along. That's the thinking. Just go along. But after listening to so much, no, no, no. I can't just continue like this. And I
Wow.
was also and I was also feeling for my children because they were born into this church.
Okay.
So when I stopped going, they were still going with their dad. So there was this Sunday
I'm
that,
surprised that your husband was still going because he's the first one that read church shift. So, how did he manage to still stomach what they were doing?
he's the first one.
Uh huh.
And even back in Nigeria, whenever I complained, whenever he was always complaining, he was always saying things wrong,
Uh huh.
even when I don't see it. He always saw anything that was wrong. And whenever he wanted to complain, I would always shush him. Shh, these are the men of God. These
Sounds
are,
like a thinking man and he's quite open to knowledge. So I'm surprised that he even
yes,
lasted longer than you did.
yes, yeah. Maybe probably that was why he lasted longer because after I stopped,
Yeah.
he told me that he's not following any man. He's not
Uh-huh.
following any man. It's not everything that man is saying that he's taking.
Wow. Okay.
Not that one man is saying that he's taking. You know. So but I'm like, what about these children? So the last time they came, there was I had to myself. So what were you taught? What's the thing for this month? It says something prosperity. So I said, I know what they taught you. They taught you this, and they said yes. I said that's a lie. That's not the complete truth. So I now found that I cannot keep doing that. Every Sunday they come back, I want to. No, I can't keep doing that. It's better they don't go at all. Then there's this younger friend of mine here in Botswana. Since I started listening to DSA, anybody around me, I just want to pour out. I just want to pour out to them. So I was always doing that to that lady. So every time after church, don't she every time when I see her after church, she would tell me that everything you were saying was what my pastor said today. That she was just jumping on her chair. And that this is what this woman is telling me. This is what this. I said, you mean it? Your pastor said this. Yes. He says so. That happened like 3 times. So when I saw that I couldn't continue staying at home with the children, and when my husband was still going, then I just said, okay, you know what? I think I'll come and try that to your church. If you say your pastor is saying this, you mean it is saying this. So I went to that church. It's a Baptist church. Yes, yes. Mainly because I wanted the children to be going. You understand? So my husband was still going. He was still going. Then I hadn't started driving right hand side here. He
All
would
right.
drop us in the Baptist church and go to the winners. But
Okay.
just during this COVID, he said, no, you can't go back to the winners again. Uh, it's because a lot had happened. He just felt, he was just telling me that he cannot go back again.
He had gotten to his
That's
wits' end finally.
That no, things are not the same. Like when mm, that no, it's that the man's focus has changed, the man's message has changed, and he cannot continue to go. So that's it.
So tell me, what was your impression? Now you're a kindred-minded personality. So tell me what your impression was like after you went through the church shift book.
My After I went through the church shift book,
Yes.
I saw a lot of things that is not how we do church.
Mm-hmm.
So I was surprised. I was shocked that, wow, is it possible to be like this? Then when I now listened to the series on kingdom,
Uh-huh.
it gave me a better understanding.
Okay.
And I have a better understanding that okay, even from inception, even from Genesis, even from the Garden of Eden, God God was with them. But when man fell, the kingdom left. The glory of God left and the kingdom left. They were given an assignment by God to spread the kingdom from that Eden, to spread it all over all the other parts of the earth. But they couldn't do that. They fell, the kingdom left. And that was why Jesus came. Jesus came to bring the kingdom. Jesus came to bring the gospel of the kingdom. So, as part of the gospel of that kingdom, you know, we're supposed to know God, to develop ourselves. So we are regenerated in the spirit. Then, beyond that, we're supposed to take his principles and his truth to different parts of the world. Apart from the message of salvation, telling people about Christ, we take the message of the kingdom to different parts of the world when we develop ourselves both spiritually and mentally, such that you do well in whatever area you are, and you are able to penetrate that place with God's principles. You understand? Principles of honesty, integrity, hard work, those are his. Those are the principles of God. So I understand better. And that's the questions that I'd always had in my mind. When we were having all these big buildings, my husband was complaining that why should bishops say that they want to build this kind of church? I said, what are you saying? We want to bring people to God. So when we preach to people, where will they stay? Where will they worship? He will say, no, it's not. I said, I don't understand. Where will they? But now I understand. Now I understand. You're
Amazing.
supposed to come to church. They build you up and they send you in those areas. You will now in your area. That's where you propagate the gospel of the kingdom.
True.
By your excellence, by your exploits, you build yourself. You add value to yourself, and so that you are able to be influential. And with that, you propagate those principles in wherever you find yourself. Yes, and that also settled my question of why uh why are unbelievers, ruling the world? Why are these the ones ruling the world? If you don't know
You
this,
always wondered why that was the case.
yes, yes, why? Because I had a mentor that used to tell me that all inventors were Christians, that they were Christians. So it is Christians that will invent. But after I saw that no, not all of them are Christians. So I don't have the answer for that. With the kingdom series, I now understand. If we just limit ourselves to just the first part, the kingdom consists of the king and the dominion of the king. If we just limit ourselves to spiritual development and we don't develop ourselves mentally and convert, to be able to have this, then we will not be able to rule or reign on earth. So if there's an unbeliever that his spirit is not regenerated, they can and is able to develop, then they're able to develop themselves mentally, then they can rule. Even though they might not make heaven, but they can rule the earth. But that is not the norm. What God wants is that his children should manifest, should rule, and take his kingdom to all the parts, every part of the earth. Yes.
That's the message that of the kingdom that has been missing from the church. And that's why we're
Yeah.
underperforming as a country and as a nation. Imagine the number of people just in the church that you were going to alone. If those people have the kingdom message, they alone can change the entire nation. Jesus did
Yes.
it with 12
Yes.
disciples.
Yes. Especially in Nigeria, where we have millions of people going to church. If people are taught this, the country will change in within a few years. Within a few years. Within a few years. But what we have,
In the Baptist church.
he said,
So you heard them teaching some of these principles in the Baptist church in Botswana.
they are not emphasizing on, but they have the basic Christian principles. You
Okay.
know, like the first day I went there, they were talking about, if you don't know anything, if you are not a Christian, even that first time you will know about Jesus Christ. You hardly get that in these big churches. They were talking about Christ, and they do a lot of good works. They do a lot of good works.
Okay.
Yes, they do a lot of good works, and they emphasize the Christian principles.
From
The
the way
Christian
you sound, it's
principles.
like you enjoy the thinking series of DSA.
The thinking series.
Yeah.
Yes, I've not mentioned it. I've not
No,
mentioned.
you've
I
not.
said kingdom. I've not
Yeah,
mentioned
you
king.
mentioned the kingdom series, but you've not mentioned that of the
Yes,
thinking.
yes. I enjoyed the kingdom thinking series as well. It was very interesting. You know, that thinking series. It's really improved the way I think. You understand?
Yeah.
The way I look at things has changed. Before, when there's an issue, maybe at work or something, or there's an argument or something, or somebody comes with allegations, if you listen to somebody, you want to side the person. Then I listen to the other person, I want to side the person. I don't even know. But with the thinking
You didn't know how
series,
to be objective.
mhm, but with the thinking series, I can critically analyze now.
Wow.
You are speaking and picking out the flaws. I even know where you missed it. Yes, it's right. That thinking. I still have to go back to the thinking series. I remember listening to the thinking series. This one in church. This is a pastor talking about. Oh my God, where has this man been? This hasn't been all my life.
Well, you refused to read the book your husband tried to tell you.
Oh,
But it's great that you're now on board. So you
yes.
said you don't see a lot of pastors talking about thinking, and professionally it's also helping you. So
Oh yeah.
what else did you discover? Is it that did the Bible begin to make a lot more sense to you, and did your relationship with God improve, and did your vision of the world also improve through that series, or was there some other ones that brought about those changes?
Oh, of course, of course, of course. My vision improved. My thinking improved. Then my relationship with God, especially with the How to Know God and Be a Friend of God series and the prayer series. It was something else. Now I enjoy God better. I'm very relaxed. I long to be in His presence, not as a matter of duty. You understand? Not as a matter of duty. You have to read your Bible, you have to pray. I read the Bible for hours now. And what? What's 2 hours? I want to know. It's interesting now. It's interesting now. And I want to love God more. I want to love God more. I just want to be there. You know, there was a day I just stood there and I was just crying. I don't know why. It's not just blah, 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 blah. I just want to feel Him. That's one changed me. I loved that series. Then all of the series, the truth series, it was wonderful. It was wonderful, you know, all the 5 levels of truth. Then there's this the HMT I listened to too. I've listened to a couple of them, but I particularly like the conversion series
All right.
because I particularly like that one because it was talking about from that series I picked how to read my Bible better from that conversion series.
Okay.
I picture Jesus from that conversion series, and I see myself walking with Jesus now when I read my Bible from that conversion series. In addition to that, there were two or three videos when he was explaining about power, about light, God being the source of light. He was
Hmm.
explaining the equation E is equal to mc squared. Then, as he was saying it, I just figured out that my son will like this because it's science oriented.
Okay.
So I showed him just a few minutes of that, and he just sparked his interest. He said, "Man, the way he even classified it, that time and space." Then he was even explaining to me further.
Mm.
And later, I was just seeing this thing to other series, and I was very happy that he was listening to them on his own. Before, I used to send to him, he would listen. But on his own now, he listens to them. I was very happy for that.
Amazing. La-
Then,
Ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it from Botswana, how God has transformed the life of Mrs. Aderonke, and she's telling you of her experience with DS's messages. They are very different, like you can hear. She's been in church for 30 years, and just in a few months, she was able to get more than she has learned in 30 years. You can experience the same thing. Just go on DS's YouTube channel, Dr. Sunday Adelaja on YouTube and on Facebook, and you'll be able to see all of these messages. They are more organized on YouTube because it gives you room to have playlists, and you can go from one to the other as long as you want. And I can assure you that you have a testimony just like hers and unique to your own experience. Like she said, she showed her son the conversion series, and because he's science oriented, he took it from there, he got interested, and he could understand everything that was being said. And I'm sure he's using it to do exploits. And I don't know what your own field is. Yours might be money. Yours might be, finding your purpose. Yours might be prayer. Yours might be building a relationship with God. Yours might be wanting to start a family or wanting to parent your kids better. All of these series are on the DSA platform on YouTube, and you can be able to go there at any point in time, right after we're finished, and you have as many answers as you have questions. And please share this link so that other people can also enjoy what we're having. So we're going to go back to Mrs. Aderonke now. So please tell us, now that you're a kingdom personality, what is your view on the world now, and what impact is it that what impact do you want to have on the world at this point? Since prior to this time when you were in church, it was all about yourself. So now that it's about the world, what vision do you have for the world, or what is it that you started doing differently that you were not doing before?
okay, now I'm thinking beyond myself as I continue to add value to myself on the smaller scale. Everybody that is around me, I'm impacting them with this knowledge, and nowadays I get a lot of, wow, I've never had that before. Thank you for coming to my life. I'm happy to have you in my life. Oh, why didn't I know you before? Why didn't I know you since? I get a lot of that now.
The same thing you were
But
saying of DSA, people are now saying of you.
yes, yes. But on a larger scale,
Hmm.
I have projects I'm still working on that I would like to formalize with time. With the I had this session with DSA, the who am I? Where
Okay.
am I here? I actually went through the series,
Okay.
so I was able to confirm my passion, my calling, and discover my passions. So I'm working on projects on that, which
Did it
is
did it
which
have
is
anything to do with dentistry, or that has just been your career?
it also has something to do with dentistry. Yes, yes,
Intuitively, you picked the right career.
yes, yes.
Fantastic.
And when I was going through that series, I was careful not to work from the answer.
Okay.
You understand? I was ready to just take it if it is not it.
To be
So I
open-minded.
followed everything. Yeah, yeah. So I followed everything, and I found that. Then I was able to, because it's very detailed. That DSS discovering yourself
Yes.
is very detailed. So many questions. By the time you go through those questions, you will know what you're supposed to do. You will know what your passions is. It will force you to think, to think back, and they will start coming to you. So I'm also able to discover my passion for senior citizens that has been there. Then I also always have this burden for younger people about moral values that is lacking. Yes, nowadays I feel that people don't sincerely even know right from wrong again.
True.
You understand? So yes, so I'm working on something that is that is more formalized. So I'll be able to to take it out, to spread it out. Yes, yes, I'm
Amazing.
thinking beyond
So,
that.
so that's the vision you're working on now, to minister to the older
Yes,
folks and to the younger people. I don't think I've had many Africans or Nigerians talk about caring for older people. That's more of a Western thing. So I believe that this is really a noble one for you to want to attend to our
it
older
has
people.
always been in me,
Oh wow,
you know.
okay,
Yes, I remember back in those days when I was still a student,
okay.
even in my group, when the case notes come, my fellow group mates will just be like, okay, 75, leave that one for Ronkeras, she wants that one.
Hmm.
So it is this DSC thing that is now bringing them back to me. Even in my practice, even my assistants will say, why is it that you love this elderly people like this? I said, really? Have you noticed? So,
So it has always been there
yes, yes. So one is my love for them, then the other is
for
my
morals in young people. And you're
my
right.
body, yes.
I was telling somebody a few days ago that sadly, in our generation now, most of the values that are being gotten by young people come from the pop and the music industry, and all of those values are wrong. I said there are things that have been normalized at this point that when our parents were young, they were almost looked at as a taboo. Things that were
Mm-hmm,
shameful to do when they were,
mm-hmm,
young people. At this point, they are being displayed on TV, and young people
mm-hmm.
think, oh, this is normal. And when their parents try to tell them that, hey, this is not the way to go, they're like, oh, you guys are old school. So I was like, there has to be a renewed push to help save the younger generation, because the influencers right now and those with the loudest voices, like you said, those who are influencing the world and doing all of the great stuff, they are not. Most of them are not Christians.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
So we need as
exactly.
many hands as
Absolutely.
we can get on deck to help reach
Absolutely.
to reach out to the younger generation. So you've started touching people one after the other, just in your little way, and you hope to take it
Um,
to a larger audience someday, right?
yes, yes, yes,
Fantastic. So what
yes.
has been your husband's reaction to all of this, since you seem to have caught this vision and you're running with it?
Like you see, he was wandering around with my laptop
Oh yeah, he
connecting,
was your
and
technician.
yeah, he has been very supportive. He has always been the very thinking type,
Hmm.
and very receptive to to new. He's very objective. Superior knowledge, when it comes across it, he takes it. So I don't have problem with that. I don't have any problem with him. He's happy for me, and I'm sure very soon he will be running and overtaking me.
So you talked about the series. Can we talk about the books? Or you've not read as many books as you've listened due to not being able to, for example, listen and do other things. With books, you have to stop everything you're doing and read. Or do you have some books that you want to share with us that
You
made the
know, you
most
know,
impact on you?
with DSA, it is very intense.
Yes.
So even with the videos, I have to read.
You
So I've
can't
read
keep
like
up.
13 books. I've read like 13 books.
Oh, wow.
So, uh-huh, uh-huh. Initially it was slow. Now I can finish a book in 2 days.
Hmm.
You know. hmm One of my best is the essence and value of life.
Okay.
Yes, the essence and value of life. That one really touched me. I was, it made everything clear to me. Why are we here? What is it that we can exchange our life for? Everybody's chasing after money, after power, after wisdom. All of these things, God is telling us that we are not allowed to exchange our life for this.
True.
We need all these things. When we put the ones that are supposed to be the priority first, when all these things come, we will not fall into error,
Mm.
because you will not come and make the ends the means.
True.
You understand? Like in Jeremiah 9:23-24. Thus says the Lord, let the wise not boast in his wisdom. Let the strong boast not in his strength. Let the rich boast not in his riches. But let it that boast about this, that they have the understanding in knowing me, and that I am the God that exercises kindness, justice, and righteousness in the affairs of men. And in this I delight. So, in other words, we can exchange our life in pursuit of the knowledge of God, understanding God, knowing God, building ourselves to become like God. And in doing that, we are able to spread justice, kindness, and righteousness in relating with people and spread that to other parts of the world. If we are able to do that, then we are pleasing God. That is the essence and the value of life.
True.
You understand? And he went, it was very deep. He went into different things and examples. And it was a great blessing for me. And also life is an opportunity. How to regain my lost years. Yes, that one I've read that one twice. That
You saw the need
that
to
is basically,
regain the last 3 decades.
yes, I didn't need to put in because I felt that I had wasted a lot of time. Or I had spent, even if not wasted, I had spent it. I'm supposed to invest my time. So how to regain your lost years. That one is something that should be read over and over again. Yes. Then I read all the books about money because I'm planning to become a millionaire.
Fantastic.
In
I believe you're part of the mentorship group, right?
yes,
How has
yes.
that been? How's that experience been for you?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. A lot of insights that we don't know. We just take things for granted as if it will just happen, and time keeps going. You just think that things don't just happen. God has made life to work according to processes. That is how He has built the world. Principles and processes, they systematically and automatically work like that. Things just don't just happen. Life is predictable. So we don't put in the principles, we don't follow the laws, and we just expect it to happen. No. So I've learned a lot about finances there.
Amazing. So is this something you recommend that people should join, or do you think you want to become a millionaire first before you tell them to join?
Oh, they can come along. They can join now. They can join now.
So that they don't have to regret later and say, why didn't you tell me, huh?
Yes, they can join now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing it from her.
Very rewarding.
If you want to join the Millionaires Mentorship Group, please write to mentorship@godembassy.org and you'll be welcomed into the program of becoming a millionaire. It is a process. Like she said, there is a lot to learn. A lot of people think money just comes to them either by shouting amen or just by working hard or by getting a good job. That is not enough to become a millionaire. If you're going to be able to create wealth, on that level, there are laws and principles that you need to know. There are disciplines, there are skills, there are things that you need to understand about yourself and build within yourself for you to be able to get there. So this mentorship program is uniquely for those who want to be able to have that level of financial success so that they can be able to be juggernauts in the kingdom of God and in the world and be able to reach, a larger audience and reach more people for God. And also, she talked about who am I, why am I here. There's also a mentorship group for that. If you want to find out who you are, so you can have such a unique experience like she did, you can write to mentorship at godembassy.org, and you'll be welcomed into the Who Am I, Why Am I Alive mentorship course, and you'll be able to discover your purpose as well. And that will change everything for you because, like she said, and like you've heard from her, everything about her changed because she suddenly began to see the world differently. She began to see herself differently, and that made all the difference. Now she loves spending time with God because she understood why she needed to have a relationship with God. Now she sees the world differently because she now understands why her passions and her likeness for old people, for younger people was there, and she can now constructively pursue those goals and live a more fulfilled life. So you also can have the same experience. All you have to do is write and begin to follow the program through, and I can assure you that you have testimonies at the end of the day. So back to you, Mrs. Aderonke.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, now that you've gone through this experience and you're still going through it, what would you say to people who are skeptical about DSA and who listen to some of the rumors like you heard initially that turned you off? What would be your message to such people?
I will say that people should be open-minded
Mm.
and try and think for themselves. People should be open, should go and listen with an open mind. There's something there that DSA has for our generation. I see him as the God's general of this generation. He has something, and it will not be good for you to miss out just because of somebody's opinion or because you don't have to like him. Just you don't have to like him. Just collect what he has. You can be a pastor or a leader anyway. You don't have to mention DSA. Just go for the resources. It will benefit you. It will benefit your followers. There's a lot there. There's a lot there. I have not seen anybody in this generation preach what DSA is preaching. I have not seen anybody preach with so much depth and clarity and simplicity like DSA is doing. And most of these allegations, when you listen with a clear mind, I don't know, I don't have to defend him. We don't have to defend him. Just go for just go for the message. Just go for the message. I think it will really be worth your while. Yes, just go for the message. That's
I hope somebody is listening to us out there who is skeptical. Probably you're just scrolling through your feed and you come across this, like she said. Just listen to the message, go for the truth. You don't have to care about the style. Focus on the substance, focus on the principles, focus on the values, and there is no way that you wouldn't be transformed because the truth would always transform anyone that accepts it. That is the power of the truth. It transcends any one person, it transcends any group of people, it transcends generations. And that is why many people who told the truth and were persecuted and even killed because of it, when they were long gone and people had even seemed to have forgotten about them, after a while, they ended up believing that, oh, look, these people were actually right. They had to accept what they were saying and they were celebrated. Most of the scientists, most of the great men were celebrated more after they were dead than when they were alive because a lot of people, while they were alive, did not accept their truth and it ended up catching up with them because the truth is indestructible. And if you listen to the Truth series on DSS channel, you would be able to understand the power of truth and you will understand what Mrs. Aderonke is saying. All right, so before we go, what message will you have for DSA on this his 53rd birthday and what do you think about this unique style of DSA celebration?
I think this is a beautiful style. You know, DSA is a people person.
Mm-hmm.
He always wants to bring people up. He always wants to pour. He's always about people. Everything we do is for the human race, is for humanity. So I think it is good. It is good. And I want to say happy birthday, DSA. I pray for God's blessings over you and the family, Pastor Bosse, Perez, Zoe, Pearl. I pray that God will continue to bless you and favor you in Jesus' name. And I pray that all this work that you are doing, that you're pouring out yourself for humanity, they will remain there and they will continue to bless generations after us, even when we are long gone, and you will have your reward. Thank you, DSA. Happy 53rd birthday. Love you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Aderonke. I'm sure DSA would appreciate that. I'm getting back to you. So we really appreciate having you on today. You've been such a special guest. Greetings to everyone in Botswana, our brothers and sisters. I don't know if you have other DSA people in Botswana that you meet with. Do you have anybody like that, or you're still?
I have not met anyone. I have not. If you have, you can send their numbers. I have not met
Aha!
anyone.
Those of you listening to us from Botswana, please go to her Facebook page and you guys should connect so that you can have your own fellowship and, do great things with each other and spread God's kingdom over there in Botswana. It's not a very big country, so I believe in a short time, you people can completely take that place over for God. So please say thank you to And greetings to your wonderful husband and brilliant kids. Thank you very much for coming today. Bye for now.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mrs. Adoronke all the way from Botswana. I'm sure you enjoyed her testimony of how she went from being a laid-back Christian to somebody who is now a kingdom-minded personality. And you can see that her story is unique because from a young age, she started out, wanting God, loving God, but religion took it all away from her. And she went into syncretism and legalism. And before you know it, her passion for God left. She was being offered positions in church, but she rejected them because she couldn't feel the love of God. She couldn't feel that, there was a connection between her and God and the things that she could see around her. But lo and behold, she found DSA and everything changed. She's now living for purpose. She has now discovered who she is. She has now discovered that life goes beyond her. She explained to us what the value and essence of life is. And that's a definition that I can assure you less than 1% of the world's population. If you're outside the DSA family, I can assure you, you wouldn't know the essence and value of life because this is not something that has been taught. And it's not something I have read in many books. So please encourage people to share this message and encourage them to read the books. Go on Amazon.com if you want to see DSA's books, The Value and Essence of Life. If you want to see the book on church shift, it's also on Amazon.com. Those of you in West Africa, you can go to dsabooksplanet.com and you will see all of DSA's books. There's a new platform out there right now where DSA's books are on. It's called bambooks.io. When you subscribe, you can read all of DSA's books for free. And all of these resources were created so that men and women, every single person listening to me out there, the entire African continent, the world can be equipped to fulfill their destiny, to be able to rise out of whatever problems that they are facing, to be able to be properly equipped to challenge, and to face challenges and challenge the status quo and bring about transformation. So this is something that is possible and we can get there, we can get it done if we actually apply ourselves. You can find out who you are, you can become a millionaire, you can be happy in your marriage, you can be free from addictions, you can be a God-loving Christian, a prayerful Christian, you can become a politician. All of these things are possible with the right tools and knowledge. And these are things that DSA brings. There is a new book out by DSA. You can go and get this one. It says, Why I Write Books and Why You Too Should Write Yours. It's a book encouraging everybody to have theirs. If you think you're not a writer, trust me, it is possible. DSA has written over 300 books, and his goal is about 1,000. He said he wants to write 1,000 before he leaves the world, and he's working hard towards that goal, and he's accomplishing it, in a very short time from now. I can assure you of that because I know him personally. So this is something that you can do as well. Everybody has a book in them. Buy this book, and your mentality about books would completely change, and you'll suddenly see how important they are to the development of everyone. So once again, if you want to become a millionaire, please join the Millionaires Mentorship. If you want to find out who you are, go to the same mentorship group, but there's a different one. You can just type on your email a mentorship at godembassy.org. Ask that you want to join either the Millionaire Club or the Millionaires Mentorship course or the Who Am I course, and you'll be granted access to it. These things are there for you so that you can become the best that God wants you to be. DSA's app is coming up soon, Vintage DSA. This is an app that will help to bring all of DSA's things to a very to one spot, and you can access all of the information on your mobile phone. This is something that a lot of people have asked for, and it's a tool that I think many of you will be proud of. It also has like an academy in it where you can go through courses that would help you to transform yourself and transform your world. So that has been the 53rd birthday celebration of DSA episode 24. We're going to be back here tomorrow with another unique guest, and I know that you're not going to want to miss that. And from us to you, wherever you are, we want to say thank you for joining us. Please join us again tomorrow and make use of the resources that DSA has made available. Now that we're done, go on YouTube, go on Facebook. You can even go on the blog, SundayAdelajablog.com, and you see articles. There are more than enough resources for you out there. Please make use of them so that at the end of the day, you will not have to regret not having lived a life full of fulfillment and full of joy that you lived out the purpose for which you were here. Thank you very much once again. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.